So this week, Absa Bank on Business Now has brought you to the power sector, and a topic that is very hotly debated these days and close to the hearts of many businesses and individuals. Paul Mwesigwa is the Executive Director of the Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited. Talk to me about the transition. How has it been so far?
Thank you very much, Malcolm. Greetings to all the viewers. I'm Paul Mwesigwa, Managing Director of UEDCL. It is now 6 months since we took over the operation of Umeme on the 1st of April. And cumulatively, we've now taken over 7 private operators, including Umeme. So in this journey for 6 months, we've done a lot. People have settled in. We are now chasing our key performance indicators, make sure that power is supplied, people can vend, materials are flowing, procurements are moving on. So in principle, we've also concluded our 3-year strategic plan, which we are now implementing to make the lives of the population better. So all the issues that were raised in February, March about the doomsday, I think have not happened. And I'm delighted that the country is managing the affairs very well.
Are you very sure right now that in this transition, you are doing the right things to make sure that industries, make sure that manufacturers that are working within those industries are happy?
Actually, thank you very much. Actually, among the fundamental decisions which the government has ever done is to transfer the responsibility of power distribution to the government. Because electricity is among the backbone for the country, and it plays a fundamental role to the developments of other sectors, including influencing the macroeconomic variables. So in that case, the decision that was done is to make sure that electricity is managed within the reasonable cost of capital, because that's a fundamental issue. And the transaction that we've gone through has an impact on changing policy, by the way. That before, during the privatization period 25 years ago, it was about private led because of the efficiency and other issues. But we need to appreciate that the country has developed. The population has gained skills, including the team that we work with, and good governance. So now the decision of taking over private operators means changing the policy to have government-led. Government-led in order to enhance access agenda for both the population and the manufacturing industry, to manage the cost of capital, because as a government institution, we are in a position to attract low-cost capital based on the shareholder and the ability to get sovereignty guarantee. So in that case, this transition has actually achieved that. For example, on the 1st of April, when we started with the low tariff at a 14% reduction. That was a fundamental move. And what this reduction has done to the manufacturers is enormous, because we have seen their bills reducing, and we also started seeing consumption in terms of units going up. What does it mean? They have increased their production capacity, they have increased employment opportunities, more outputs and more products are being produced on the market, and they expect to be priced within the right pricing. There are about 7 categories of tariffs. The first tariff is for the domestic customer, the customer who consumes at the end. It's about 700. Then the other category of the tariff is for the small commercial petrol station and other 3-phase ordinary customers. It's in the range of 600. Then the third category is medium industry. Medium industries, we have maize millers, 3-star to 5-star hotels, very few 5-star hotels, and others like we've talked about maize millers, hotels, buildings, arcades. So they fall into the medium category. Now, the current tariff model that has been formulated since we came in has separated between manufacturers and services. So the tariff, for example, for the manufacturers, medium industry, is 355 shillings per unit. The tariff for medium industry services is 412.
When you go out there, I don't know whether this happens with transitions, with all transitions, or people are either impatient or this is exactly what you are hearing now. This is the message. That the power that is being distributed by UEDCL is not, that is not strong enough. And that's on the industry part.
Yes.
They'll say you will put this machine and then before you know, the voltage goes down. Whatever it is. When you go to individual homes, load shedding is like we are back. I don't know, in the days before even what was the first company before
UEB.
UEB. That is happening also in my own house.
What is your
I must tell you,
What is your home?
I live in Rubaga.
Rubaga,
And this is not a complaint from me alone. I was speaking to someone abroad who said they have received reports that load shedding in Uganda is now.
Okay.
So that is the dent on the transition.
It is two-way. There is some reality in some feeders. What is happening when we took over, we've enhanced load growth on the network. That the maximum demand of energy that we are consuming, for example, for the end of September, was 1,115 megawatt. We moved from 986 megawatts. That is a fair increase of about 13% in terms of megawatt consumed. All that energy is now being pumped on the network. Why? Because we've connected new customers. At the same time, we've reconfigured some feeders to have a backbone stability. But mind you, we're overloading the network. Why are we saying overloading the network? When the Umeme knew that they are going, 3 years ago, they literally stopped investing. Why? There were two reasons. One, because they could invest on the money secured from the banking institution. Their ability to access funding reduced. But at the same time, the government advised, because your funds are too expensive, curtail the money that you're putting in to avoid blowing the buyout amount. So the network has spent 3 years without getting good investment. Mind you, the customers have slightly been increasing. But what we observed, that they did also stopped or reduced the speed at which they are connecting the customers. That's why you could find we've taken over some customers who had applied 1 year plus 1.5 years ago, and they were not connected. Why? Because some feeders had been tagged as not user-friendly on any load growth. But we've connected them. We did analysis that if we get these new customers, we know the network has not is maxed, is at maximum. Shouldn't we connect them? If you don't connect them, they will still exist. So instead, connect them as you do system improvement. So what we've done so far, we've started now rectifying some feeders and some substations. For example, we've worked on the substation for Kachiri. I think the population around Nansana and the surrounding, they have a break. We've also worked on the substation in Mbarara. Mbarara was in a bad state. The power has stabilized. Covered Kisolo, it has stabilized. Now we have started the construction process of a substation in Kasangati, Majiji, and Kira. It will relieve the population from the current fluctuations. Actually, in the power business or transaction, there are 3 stages where you realize the network is now giving way.
How much more investment do you need? How much more investment should government put in right now to stop the fluctuations, to stop the, the darkness that I have been in for 3 days now?
Now what's happening,
yes,
the major feeders have been worked on. Now we are managing the transformer zones because we've analyzed that we need to work on 3,500 transformer zones, which are overloaded across the country. But we have those which are ill critical, very sick. They're between 518 to 600. And so far, by today, we've now worked on 79. But we've issued out contracts to 150 contract projects of transformer injection to go around and inject them. Our target that if at least we can inject the 500 transformers by end of December, the critical transformer zones will have stability at a certain level. But we need to appreciate, as we connect more customers, more load is inserted. Our analysis is that for any 200 customers we put on the network, you need a transformer of 100 kVA somewhere. And that's the model that we are going to implement.
How much money is UEDCL looking for to stabilize the energy?
In our 5-year strategic plan, it is $950 million. However, in our first year of operation, we got an approval to spend $74 million, and the funds were secured. We've ordered for stock of that tune, actually more than $134 million, stock that can take us for the next 18 months.
So that's enough to
for 18 months
to handle all your logistical problems and
the first
infrastructure challenges
for the first 18 months. Because what we need to appreciate that a distribution network is a growing target. The more customers you connect, the more investment you have to do in. And as you connect, some components are becoming aged because some of the installation you're talking about, they were installed 40 years ago, 35 years ago. So there comes a time that you need to replace them. We've done an analysis that 26% of our substations, they are due for replacement and repair, actually refurbishment, to buy new transformers and primary substations. 74% of the transformers that we took over, they didn't have protection because the private operator wasn't maintaining them very well. But the beauty we've given our transformer suppliers, for information, we are buying all the transformers from Ugandan manufacturers. We've signed contracts with 6 factories now to supply us up to the first batch of 2,500 transformers. And their production capacity was a bit low, but now they're beefing it up. And for any transformer they manufacture, we just pick and deploy on site because our demand for the transformer is superseding what is required, what is being produced. Actually, what I need to tell you, my colleague, that the way we are running this business is a commercial, profit-making business, not the ordinary
Can
government.
you assure viewers that government can be more efficient than the previous player?
Thank you. Among the key performance indicators, we have collected 99.5% of our revenue sales. The previous operator was collecting 98. Now, because of that good correction, we've been positioned to pay our supplier 100%. The main supplier that we pay is UEDCL. To date, they are not demanding us any outstanding invoice. That is actually a resurrection of the energy sector, because all the previous 7 companies were taken over. By the time we took them over, they had areas. All the industrial parks in Uganda, at least the design is to have a dedicated line on the transmission side. Let me start with the Namanga Industrial Park. There is a transmission line that supplies within the Namanga Industrial Park, and on average, 80% of the factories, they have a dedicated line, at least. What we are looking at, that if you have one dedicated line, you could also have another alternative dedicated line. Because if you are working on one line for repairs and maintenance, we should be switching it to another dedicated line. I can also give you another example. In Karamoja there are factories coming up, but I think they all have dedicated lines. Soon, November, next month, we are commissioning another line for a cement factory that will be consuming about 23 megawatts, dedicated lines. Why? Because we believe they should have their power uninterrupted. But at the same time, there are also some critical infrastructure in this country, like Mulago Hospital, the National Referral Hospital in Kawempe. We are constructing for them a dedicated line. Chirudu to the same story, because those are critical infrastructure that don't need any disruption, including Makerere University.
Mengo was running on a generator last night.
Yes,
Hospital. I was
there. We are doing some improvement on the substation at Namungona. So they will be supplied through that. But at the same time, we are planning to do what we call Power System Improvement Plan for CBD, Central Business Unit. We've advertised for supply of land on Nakasero Hill, like a quarter of an acre, to build a substation that will enhance power supply to Nankulavye, Mengo, alternatives to Makerere, Kololo, and Nakasero. So there is a lot that's being done to enhance and stabilize power, because you realize there are so many developments that have come up. Okay. Actually, most of the feeders, they've reached above 80% of their road. The first technology that we've deployed is between the population and the company that we work, and UEDCL. If you want any of our service, unless you need to do some exercise, you don't need to leave your home. You can either contact us on your phone, WhatsApp, or any other channel. We shall get back to you. That's one. If you want power supply, you don't need to leave your home. Go on your phone, enter online application, you apply for power, we get a message, we send you a reply to pay your inspection fee. You pay about 23,600 plus initial energy, 6,400, total 30,000. The next thing, we send you an inspector. You don't need to come.
In how many days?
Our target is 5 days. Now, that's one. The other one that we've initiated for the customer, we realized by the time we took over, so many customers had illegal activities. Some customers had meters that were 40. So we opened up a project called the Wetereze. So what a customer does, goes on his or her phone, open a website, fill in their meter number and a telephone number and a comment status. That project has done wonders for us.
What about vandalism?
Now, vandalism is a problem for all of us. You can't believe that since we took over, we've had 6 vandalism cases in Kololo, Nakasero, and the surrounding of Nankulabi and Mengo. In Kampala here, what do? They cut a meter or 2 meters within the cable. The following day, customer complained that you're off. But we've engaged the security and we've arrested 62 vandals. They've been aligned in court. and they're being charged under the new Electricity Act. So my message to the vendors, people should avoid vandalism because it is criminal and causes problems to the population. Power distribution is an infrastructure which is mainly involving civil works. In civil works, you need to scope, plan, procure, and execute. We have equipments whereby even if you pay now, the manufacturer and delivery can take them 6 months, whether you are government or a private operator. But in our plan, in the first 2 years, we expect that the network would have been stabilized to come out of the delay that was happening on the network, which took 3 years without having significant investment. What I can assure the business viewers that we've secured the funds, both within the tariff and even the lenders. Actually, among our lenders is Absa Bank. They've given us a facility as UEDCL to the extent that's being borrowed on our balance sheet because of our creditworthiness and our good governance.
That is Business Now with me, Malcolm Musiime, brought to you by Absa Bank. Right now, you can talk to any of your Absa Bank branches about custody banking. Anywhere in Mbarara, anywhere in Kampala, anywhere in Gulu, anywhere in Rukunjiri, wherever there is an Absa Bank branch to learn about that new exciting campaign. You can rewatch the story on our YouTube channel on NTV Uganda. Please don't forget to subscribe and follow us on our social media platforms. Follow me at Malcolm Musiime. NTV Business Now ends, and next up is NTV Tonight.